In today's Ugly News, we're going to be discussing a potential comeback for Glossier, some devastating and truly worrying news from the world of injectables, supermodel Naomi Campbell, who's been one of the most iconic faces in fashion for decades, has just been banned from being a charity trustee here in the UK. This pretty shocking news actually comes after a UK watchdog, the Charity Commission, revealed that her charity Fashion for Relief had been mismanaging funds. Get this, they were spending the money on things like luxury hotels, spa treatments, and even cigarettes. Now, according to reports from the BBC and The Independent, the Charity Commission's investigation actually found that Fashion for Relief wasn't giving as much money to the causes it was supposed to help. Instead, a lot of that money was being spent on things like Naomi Campbell's personal security and unauthorized payments to one of the trustees, Bianca Helmich. So to give you a rough idea of how bad things got, the inquiry discovered £290,000, so about $355,000 worth in unauthorized payments. But thankfully, a lot of that is now being recovered. Naomi Campbell's been banned from holding a trustee position in the UK for 5 years, whilst her co-trustees, Bianca Helmich and Veronica Chow, received longer bans of up to 9 years for Helmich and 4 years for Chow. Naomi has responded by saying that she's just now finding out about these findings and that she wasn't involved in the charity's day-to-day operations. She made it crystal clear that while she may be the face of Fashion for Relief, she wasn't the one managing the money, which I kind of get. In her statement, Naomi Campbell said she's deeply concerned by the report, but she's also calling it deeply flawed. She's promised to investigate what went wrong and said that she's never done charity work for personal gain. In fact, she shared that she's been dedicated to philanthropy for nearly 30 years and that her commitment is very real. She also pointed out that she wasn't paid for her role in Fashion for Relief, and that whenever she traveled for the charity, she either paid for it out of her own expenses or got help from close friends to cover the costs. She even clarified that the luxury hotel charges mentioned in the report weren't covered by the charity, but paid for by a third party. One of the most surprising details actually from the investigation was that between 2016 and 2022, only 8.5% of the charity's funds actually went to the charitable grants. That's a huge red flag, considering the whole point of Fashion for Relief was to raise money for poverty relief. The charity held these amazing, huge fundraising events in places like London and New York, and they had big names involved too, like the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, Girls Aloud singer Nicola Roberts, and even Britain's Got Talent judge Alicia Dixon. I may have been exaggerating when I said huge names. No, national treasures. So to find out that only a tiny portion of the funds were actually going to charity is pretty disappointing and kind of terrifying, because it makes you think, is this happening in other charities? Now, Campbell hasn't backed down though. She's standing firm that she wasn't directly involved in these issues and that she's committed to getting to the bottom of it. And she's even hinted that she might appeal parts of the Charity Commission's findings, saying that the report didn't take everything into account, like they're missing a few bits. Despite the scandal, Naomi Campbell says she's more determined than ever to keep making a positive impact in the world and to use her platform to uplift others, especially through creative arts. But let's be real, this whole situation raises a lot of questions, concerns. Should Campbell have been more involved in overseeing how her charity was being run? Yes, I think so. Was it really just a case of bad management by others, or does some of the responsibility fall on her as the face of the organization? I mean, even though she wasn't in charge of the day-to-day operations, she is still the one representing the charity. If my face was the face of something, I'd like to think I knew what was going on, you know? At the end of the day, however, Fashion for Relief has been officially dissolved and its remaining funds have been used to pay off debts and donated to other charities, Save the Children and the Mayor's Fund for London. So while Fashion for Relief may no longer be operating, Naomi Campbell seems determined to keep using her influence for good. What do you think? Should Naomi Campbell actually been knowing what was going on within her own charity, or did you just kind of presume that she was the face, which like a lot of celebrities are, they lend their face to a cause? Or was this just something that just slipped out of her control. Let me know what you think in the comments. Alice Webb, a 33-year-old mother of 5, has become the first known person in the UK to die from undergoing a liquid Brazilian butt lift, a BBL. Alice, who lived in Watton-under-Edge and worked in the beauty industry herself, was taken to Gloucestershire Royal Hospital after falling ill after her procedure. That was on a Monday, and sadly she passed away the early Tuesday morning. Her death has of course sparked some concern and outrage over the growing trend of non-surgical cosmetic procedures, which are often marketed as safe alternatives to surgery. And we're seeing more of these procedures being carried out from unlicensed surgeons on social media. It's a really worrying, terrifying trend. The exact details surrounding Alice's procedures are still under investigation, but it's believed that she underwent a non-surgical BBL, also known as a liquid BBL, which involves injecting dermal fillers, usually hyaluronic acid, into the buttocks to enhance their shape. Unlike the surgical version, which uses fat transfers or implants, liquid BBLs often advertise a safer and cheaper alternative, costing around £1,600 and promising minimal recovery time. However, medical experts have repeatedly warned about the significant risks involved. The cosmetic practitioner who allegedly performed the procedure, Jordan Parke, who you may recognize as also being known as the Lip King, was arrested in connection with Alice's death. Parke, who has no medical qualifications whatsoever, is an actual real controversial figure in the beauty industry, having undergone over £130,000 in cosmetic surgery himself. You may have actually seen him on social media or even on TV. He is a self-proclaimed plastic surgery advocate and has appeared on several reality shows, including This Morning and Body Shockers. So police are of course currently investigating his involvement in Alice's case. It's a tragic case, and it's reignited the conversation around the dangers of non-surgical procedures, particularly liquid BBLs, and who's carrying them out. Now, Ashton Collins, who's director of Save Face UK, a UK register of accredited cosmetic practitioners, called Alice's death a preventable tragedy. She says liquid BBL procedures are a crisis waiting to happen. She goes on to say that they are advertised as risk-free, but nothing could be further from the truth. Collins revealed that Save the Face has supported over 500 women who have suffered severe complications from similar procedures, many of who develop life-threatening infections like sepsis. But despite these growing concerns, non-surgical BBLs remain legal here in the UK. However, some local authorities, including Wolverhampton, Essex, and Glasgow, have actually taken steps to ban certain companies from offering these treatments due to its associated risks. Let's discuss those risks, because I keep saying the risks and not actually saying what they are. And these are kind of similar to most cosmetic procedures. So of course, infections, sepsis, because liquid BBLs involve injecting large amounts of dermal filler into the body, there is a serious risk of infection. If the filler isn't injected under sterile conditions, by the right person, in the right way, you can get a life-threatening infection. Tissue death is another scary thing that can happen when being injected by the wrong people, being injected improperly, blocking blood vessels, part of the tissue can die, leading to really painful complications, discoloration, and permanent scarring. We discussed in a previous video recently about how a woman's nose actually came off because her rhinoplasty went wrong, her liquid rhinoplasty went wrong, and then you have other concerns like blood clots as well. Now, Alice Webb's passing is not just a tragedy for her family, it's a really horrifying reminder of the potential dangers of these quick fixes that are becoming more and more popular. Her loss has prompted calls for tighter regulations, which I feel is the most important thing here, but also greater awareness of the risks involved in non-surgical procedures. I always mention that if you go and see somebody, a practitioner who is fully qualified, they will tell you all these risks. Those who kind of put these procedures forward as completely risk-free, I wouldn't trust. In your initial consultation, you should be told about the pros and the cons of every procedure you're having done. Beautybacked, a trust whose trustees include beauty industry experts such as Caroline Hirons, which aims to assist everyone and anyone who works or who wants to work in the beauty industry, kind of rounded this whole thing up perfectly for me in a statement that they posted on their Instagram. After sharing their condolences, they said, Alice's untimely passing is a stark reminder of the critical gaps in regulation in the beauty industry. At Beautybacked, we are proud to support highly trained beauty professionals who adhere to the highest safety standards. These therapists undergo years of specialized education, honing their craft and ensuring the well-being of their clients. However, with comprehensive government oversight, anyone can offer treatments without the proper qualifications or safeguards, putting clients' safety at serious risk. They go on to say it is essential that the UK government steps in to implement and enforce strict regulations within the beauty sector. The current lack of beauty standards leaves the public vulnerable to unsafe and unregulated practices. Tragedies like Alice's will continue to happen unless clear regulatory frameworks are put into place that require proper licensing, mandatory training, and accountability. They finish by saying this is not just about protecting clients, but also preserving the professionalism and integrity of a qualified beauty practitioner. Now more than ever, the government must act to prevent future tragedies. We cannot afford to wait. Signed, the Beautybacked Trustees. And while I think it would be stupid to say that, oh, you know, this is safe as long as you go to the right people, which is technically true, that doesn't discount the fact that there does need to be regulations in place. There needs to be a proper licensing system, a level of education that you must reach before being able to do this on people, not just getting a certificate in someone's shed in their back garden, you know? More work needs to be done, and I think Beautybacked summed it up perfectly there. Are Glossier relaunching their failed makeup line? Do you remember Glossier Play? I think I discussed it briefly in my Glossier deep dive video, but for those who don't know, here's some history about Glossier Play and the details about why this makeup brand from Glossier basically failed, I guess you can say. Glossier Play was a makeup sub-brand launched by Glossier in March of 2019, and it was actually designed to offer a more playful, more colorful take on beauty as opposed to the kind of like minimalist and natural aesthetic of Glossier's main line. Glossier Play focused on like really bold colors and textures and finishes that encouraged creativity and fun in makeup application. And honestly, that didn't really work in Glossier's favor. There was a huge brand disconnect there. Glossier kind of like built their reputation on that minimalist look, everyday beauty with a skin first philosophy. It was very, very minimal. So in contrast, Glossier Play was bolder, more colorful, dramatic, and just for a completely different audience to the one that the core group of millennials, minimalist millennials, that Glossier had spent years building. Many Glossier fans actually found that Glossier Play's products didn't align with that easy, effortless ethos of the main line. Some key products in the Glossier Play line included Vinyl Lip, which was a high shine semi-sheer lacquer for lips, Night Shine, which is a liquid highlighter with a buildable glow, Color Slide, a vibrant, long-lasting eye gel eyeliner in various bold shades, Glitter Gilet, a glitter gel for eyes, face, or anywhere designed for a dramatic sparkle, and a Blade, which was a sharpener designed to work specifically with the Color Slide eyeliners. But other than the brand just not really resonating with Glossier customers and cult members. In 2021, Glossier started a company-wide reset to focus more on its core offerings, and they decided to scale back on projects that weren't performing as expected. So discontinuing Glossier Play kind of allowed the company to double down on what made it so popular, which was its skincare and its very minimal makeup essentials. Ultimately, Glossier decided to quietly shelve Glossier Play, with some products like the Night Shine highlighter being like folded into the main Glossier line. However, earlier this year, Glossier launched its first summer capsule collection. They say that this was inspired by the bright culture of the French Riviera, and it was a limited edition range with 2 editions of Glossier's Ultra Lip lipstick in new shades and packaging, with the packaging being a little bit more experimental. It was a real 70s style font that was very reminiscent of like the Glossier Play kind of aesthetic. But on a recent post on Glossier's Instagram and a comment left by Glossier themselves, they started to stir up some rumors that a relaunch of Play may be on the cards for Glossier. Potentially. Maybe not. Captioned, the anticipation of the party, followed by numerous bright and colorful pictures of like people in like shiny shit and feathers and glitter and all that kind of stuff. Of course, this sparked rumors of a Play comeback, with one Instagrammer commenting, "Is this what I think it means?" and Glossier replying with a zipped mouth emoji. But one commenter also kind of putting these rumors to rest. They simply asked, "Play?" And Glossier's reply said, "Play has a special place in our hearts. What's coming next is even better." So it looks like Play as we know it isn't coming back, but maybe something that takes the playfulness and creativity of Play and then the simplicity and minimalism of the main Glossier line and meets them somewhere in the middle, meets them halfway. I mean, when you take a look at Glossier's most recent offerings on social media, on all their social media pages, especially Instagram, they really haven't been playing into that whole millennial minimalist look for a while. So maybe they've been preparing their customers for something new for a while now without us really knowing. It does look a little bit more playful. Do you care? Do you remember Glossier Play? Are you excited about this? Let me know in the comments. Lush has just launched a new collection inspired by The Body Shop. But wait, this may not be as weird as it sounds first of all. Cosmeticsbusiness.com, I think, reports that they're basically taking a lot of inspiration from one of their biggest competitors, which is The Body Shop. Used to be their biggest competitors. They've reworked 12 of The Body Shop's most popular products for hair, body, and skincare, calling the line the Lush version. According to Lush, it's a fresh spin on some old favorites and The Body Shop classics. This launch comes right after The Body Shop was saved from going into administration. I guess the higher-ups at Lush kind of maybe found this nostalgic and inspirational in some way, but a spokesperson for Lush said that when the news broke that The Body Shop had entered into administration after another change of hands, it stirred up all kinds of feelings for the Lush co-founders. While their working relationship was over several companies ago, the two businesses shared a history and often even ingredient suppliers. Those who still remember making creams for Anita in Mo's shed wanted to revisit those earlier formulas, the ones that got away. The Lush version is a fresh take on old friends and The Body Shop classics, a tribute to the hippie path we forged decades ago when Anita gave our very first formulas a chance. So this may be a little bit confusing without some history. Anita Roddick, the founder of The Body Shop, watch a deep dive on The Body Shop here, and there's a Lush deep dive coming very soon, tomorrow, in a couple of days. The co-founders of Lush basically supplied The Body Shop with some of their first and most iconic products. They worked together for a number of years until they finally parted ways in the early 90s. Constantine and Weir, who created and supplied these products for The Body Shop, then went on to make like a mail order company, which failed, which they then went on to create Lush. So yeah, when I used to work for Lush, there was this real kind of almost, it felt like a rivalry between Lush and The Body Shop. My store in Cheltenham was literally right opposite The Body Shop, and there was a little bit of rivalry. The Lush then moved outside. It's weird because the Body Shop and Lush always pitted against each other, but at one point they were the same thing, technically, I guess you can say, because a lot of the formulations that Constantine and Weir made, they then took on to Lush, including, of course, their iconic bath bombs, which you can smell a mile off. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. I haven't bought Lush for a very long time, but I'm kind of interested in this, I guess, for like nostalgic reasons. It's just a collaboration that I'd never thought I'd see. But let me know what you think in the comments, as always. Let me know what you think about this Naomi Campbell scandal as well. It's an odd one. Is it surprising? I don't know. I met Naomi Campbell once. She was lovely to me at the time. Doesn't mean she didn't steal from a charity. That's not relevant to anything. But as I mentioned, leave your comments in the comments box down below. You can watch the whole ugly news here and the full When Beauty Turns Ugly video playlist here. That didn't make sense. Watch it there, and I'll see you next time.